acknowledgement. And let me set up my stuff here. Okay, so a great memorable quote from a television series that I love called Rain. Catherine de' Medici says, "History is written by survivors, and I am surely that." Today, I am proud to be a part of the human trafficking survivor community. Yep. I am empowered by my government, my family, and local community to tell the truth about what happened to me, to those so many generations before me, and to those that are suffering now. My work as a survivor leader and expert consultant has done so much for our country. For many years now, I've served our federal government, sharing my lived experience as a way to give insight into the world of trafficking. I not only brought my own personal experience of this to our government, but also the lives of other victims and survivors that I've worked with as well. At that time in our government, we had a lot of work to do. So first, we had to define what was going on. We had to put our efforts on language, on words. Between culture or the societal shaped mindset about the topic of sex and labor trafficking and the truth. This meant dispelling myths and holding every citizen accountable, and to also be a part of the solution. We as survivor leaders worked with our government in public outreach awareness to help our states understand why sex trafficking is wrong and dangerous. You will find on our State Department's website reports that inform government agencies. We give in-depth ideas on gaps and initiatives on how to deal with issues around sex and labor trafficking. We speak about words and language that is harmful versus helpful. This was able to get us on the same page as we move together to change a mindset. What I must spend a moment just briefly talking to you about when I talked about words and language are the words victim and survivor. As described in United States Advisory Council on Human Trafficking, the definition of victim, this term means a person that has suffered direct physical, emotional, or pecuniary harm as a result of the commission of a crime. And then now let's look at the word survivor, a term used for an individual who suffered harm as a result of a criminal conduct, and that recognizes the strength it takes to continue on a journey toward healing in the aftermath of a traumatic experience. We identify victims because we want victims to become survivors. We don't want victims to remain as they are. When we as survivors are able to tell our stories from a place of wholeness, we bring our stories with us. We help those who are allies understand more about what has transpired in our experience. We are able to identify what has gone wrong, and we give input into what works. It's strategy at its best. We share not only our experiences, but issues that led us into being exploited, right? Identifying root causes, looking more directly at systemic barriers and challenges, issues with data collecting and reporting, societal changes, where to build capacity. Something so simple for me was recognizing that outreach materials that were being sent out prior, hopefully to get the attention of someone being trafficked, that would not have reached me or gotten my attention. Why? Because at the time I didn't believe I was being trafficked. When working with survivors, it says, we believe you. We believe your story, and we believe what happened to you. This aids in the healing process, and this is how you don't repeat history. We cannot allow complacency to take root as it has. You believe the stories, and then you act with urgencies. This also sends a message to buyers and traffickers. The message is that although for many generations the world has not believed the ones you have exploited and used, this is changing. Victims are being identified and surviving these crimes against our humanity that should have never been allowed in the first place. It sends a message to traffickers that the very person you are using now is powerful because survivors are rising up everywhere, speaking out and leading this work. It says to victims right now that we are coming for you. Today we must end this, we must continue to end, today we must continue this end to slavery, Finally, we must encourage all nations to recognize the need for survivors of such crime to lead together with allies. Survivors are needed because their intention is the most sincere and urgent. Not one survivor wants what happened to them happen to another. I'm grateful to our federal government to listening to survivors and letting us tell our story on their platform, because it then becomes not about them and us or them and you or divisive, but it becomes a union, a unity. So now I work within the state of Virginia, and I work with its legislators to do the same. We are working on a survivor survey within our state to get a better idea to the experience those who were trafficked and how they receive services within our state. We want to know what happened to them. We want to hear their stories and respond appropriately. We just don't want to do things because someone else is doing it. We want to make sure that they're meeting our survivors and they're being heard and we're meeting them where they are. We are working with all top-level offices and departments, making sure we are on the same page and using the same training tools that our alignment and messaging is clear. But most importantly, we are putting traffickers and buyers on notice. The practices of buying and selling sex and cheap labor should not be a part of an advanced civilization as ourselves, period. Respect and human dignity should be a commonly shared concept, and it's time to move forward. Thank you so much. I will again reiterate that the barcode there, you can scan it on your phone, and then you can sign the request that we're asking for survivor councils to really begin to see this work happen in other nations. Thank you so much.